Yo, it's your boy Wolfie here, man, and finally, FIFA 20 career mode news has been announced. My goodness, have EA just done a whole 180 flip on career mode, man. It's like they've actually sat down and taken everything the community has said into consideration, as well as other communities' feedback into consideration, and actually put their eggs in the career mode basket this year and made it something worth playing, man. Career mode sounds absolutely amazing this year. Personally, I was already excited for FIFA because of Volta, but this has just made me super excited, and I've not been this excited about a FIFA release in a very long time. So before I even get into the news, I do want to say a massive thank you to EA Zaro and Corey as well, because I know that they pushed our feedback hard this year to get some changes added to career mode. And I also want to say a massive thank you to the career mode team over at EA for actually listening to us and actually taking some of our ideas in and actually making career mode very exciting this year, man. I cannot wait. But I ain't gonna hold you guys time anymore. I'm gonna get straight into this, and we're gonna get straight into what's new about FIFA 20 career mode. This year, press conferences and player conversations have had a massive overhaul, man. They've been in career mode for a very long time, but they've really had no depth or substance about them. So I feel like this year the career mode team looked at that and thought to themselves, what could we do and how many layers could we add upon this to make it something worth doing? Because press conferences are just pointless. Player conversations, you can't even interact with your players. It's all just pointless. So this year, the new feature lineup is press conferences and player interaction. The vision of the career mode team was to breathe new life into career mode by leveraging huge amounts of data into the game mode and build a variation of ever-changing scenarios that would surface throughout the career mode through pre and post match conferences and player conversations. The stories that happen are based on player progression, meaning how you interact with your players will impact the team's morale. That is just absolutely amazing. You know, press conferences, you know, in real life we don't know what happens in the background of a team. We just take what's given to us on the surface, which is a manager's press conferences. But you would imagine that if players do watch the press conference or hear something from the press conference, that they'd feel some type of way if it was a negative vibe towards them, or if it was a positive vibe towards them in the press conference, they would feel some type of way. So the fact that, you know, press conferences do have some impact on team morale is a good move forward. And again, it's a layer that needs to be added into press conferences because they have no substance whatsoever. The experience of each match will be treated differently by journalists and will always feel authentic and dynamic. Questions will be changed based on the match outcome, goals scored, opponent, time of season / stage of competition, and more. Amazing. Again, layers. That's what we need. So depending on where you are, you know, if you're like an Arsenal and you're sitting in 6th and, you know, it's getting close to the end of the season, I'm guessing the journalists are going to ask you, like, what's going on? Like, do you feel like your team is going to be able to scrape top 4? You know what I'm saying? If you score hella goals in one game, they're probably going to ask you in the press conference after the game, like, how did you feel about your team, you know, playing so well going forward, but defensively they lacked a lot of concentration, they lacked a lot of composure, stuff like that. So it's great. This is great. All questions will be answered in pre or post match conferences with built-in cutscenes. That's how you feel, EA. I am seeing you right now, for real. Player conversations will serve mainly as a one-on-one interaction through a messaging app. So with this, there isn't going to be cutscenes for this. Player interactions, there won't be any cutscenes for this. It's going to be done in a format of a messaging app. So I don't know what messaging app they're going to kind of base this off of. It could be WhatsApp, it could be Twitter DMs, it could be an email kind of look. We don't know yet. As I'm recording this, I don't have any images to look at, so I'm not too sure what they're going to do, but there won't be any cutscenes for this. But still, at least we get player interaction. Forget the cutscenes. I don't mind that there's not cutscenes. Forget that. We can actually reply to players now. So if you miss a player out for one game because you want to give him fitness and he comes knocking on your door talking about my role at the club, now you can actually reply to him and say, listen, dude, it was one match. Chill. Breathe and intake some air. You will be playing the next game. It's just one match. Just relax. You know what I'm saying? So we can actually interact with players. Something that has been missing since probably day one in career mode. So this is great. Within both, we can decide as managers how we would like to tackle a variety of situations. Based on our approach, we can affect a player's morale positively or negatively, as well as impacting our own manager rating. You see what they are doing here. So now manager rating actually has a reason to upgrade and downgrade, as well as obviously not completing your objectives or completing your objectives. But still, the manager rating to me has kind of just been there. Like, I'm just looking at them, like, you're just there. Like, even if it goes down to like the lowest, which I think is like 61 or something, it doesn't really impact you. It doesn't really affect the team. It does nothing. It's just there. However, obviously, of course, now I would believe if you've got a low manager rating, it's going to affect your team morale, because they're not going to be behind you because they don't believe in you as a manager. This is all great. This is all great. Press conferences and player interaction share the same level of complexity. There will be a variety of requests, as well as happy or disgruntled players that have something to get off of their chest. Amazing. EA, I don't know why it's taking you this long, but regardless, you went in. You went in. Player press conferences and player conversations have added so much depth already into this career mode that it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Now you won't be able to have a star player sitting on the bench, because, you know, you've already got a world-class team on the starting 11. You now have to kind of figure out and balance out your squads accordingly, so that you don't have players complaining. This is great. This is great. It's a great and a huge step in the right direction, and there will be more layers added onto this, I can guarantee you. Player morale is something that's obviously been in the game for a very long time, but it's just been in the game, and again, it's had absolutely no depth to it. Essentially, you could have a player on bad form or bad morale, play him in a game, and he'd play just as well as a player on excellent form or excellent morale. It meant absolutely nothing. It was just there for show. However, player morale system obviously now adds a lot more depth and a lot more layers onto it. Things such as your performance, your press conference answers, your actions towards 1v1 conversations will obviously impact players' morales, and having high morale is very important this year, because it will impact a player's attributes going into the next game. Again, this is amazing. This is what you need. This is realism. EA, I appreciate you. This is good. This is so good. So all of this that EA are adding into the game, it's gonna make you think before you do anything this year, before you sign any player, before you comment on any player, before you make a statement in your press conferences. They're all moves to make you think before you do anything, which is what managers have to do in real life. You know, managers really do have to, you know, go into press conferences and you know, probably judge what they're going to get asked, and kind of tactically go off that and kind of say, right, if they ask me this, I can't say this. Unless you're Jose Mourinho, of course, then you say whatever you want. But most managers, it's like, if they ask me this, I can't say this. If they ask me this, I can say this, but I have to word it like this. You see what I'm saying? So this is great. And the fact that now press conferences will impact players' morale, and if it's good or bad, it will affect their attributes. That's just class, man. That is so good. Manager customization has also been upgraded drastically, so more in-depth customization. You can change your manager's outfit now at any moment during the season. So if you've been in that box suit for the whole winter, you feel me, and summer's coming through, and you know, you ain't trying to be all boxed and claustrophobic up in that grey suit. You just want to stunt in your trackie. Stunt in your trackie. Get that suit off. Feel free, you know what I'm saying? Sponsored by Puma. That's tough. Unless you don't even feel like you want to wear the jacket. Sometimes you just want to rock the polo and the trackies with the trainers. That's tough. You could do that. EA, that's how you feel. Oh my goodness, that's how you feel. Listen, I'm gonna be remixing my outfits to the fullest. Trust that. You already know. Live news has also been enhanced a little bit. So new memorable highlight moments for the news section. Now for me personally, I don't really look at the news section all that much, but I know that there are some that do, and there are some content creators that actually base their videos from the news section. So this is good. So what it does, it will store memorable moments from a game, and through that you can create your own little stories in your career mode, which is good, because, you know, we're all content creators. We want to create stories within our career modes, so this is great. Also, that helps us that use dynamic images for our thumbnails. I'm just saying that EA, you just helped us a little bit. You made our job a little bit easy, you know what I'm saying? League UI theme. So what this is in FIFA 19, once you went into the Europa League or the Champions League, the whole of your career mode look would change. You'd get a Europa League theme or the Champions League theme. This is going to be the same now for all the licensed league in the game. So the Premier League, the Bundesliga, Ligue 1, La Liga and MLS will all have UI themes and UI menus. So when you play in those leagues, you'll have different kind of looking backgrounds. Basically, that's basically what that is. If you use a league that isn't licensed, unfortunately you'll just have the default FIFA 20 theme. But for me, FIFA 20 theme is clean anyway. I like the color scheme they've gone with this year, so it's not even all bad. It really isn't all bad, it's all good. But yeah, if you do play in a licensed league, then you do get the personal UI menu. This is something. Dynamic player potential. Now, something that really took off during the year with career mode is that fact that we all kind of just had a complete 360 switch from, you know, player potentials, and we actually all kind of, without mutually agreeing, but mutually agreed that player potentials need to be gone. This is something EA have done, but it's only for your team. So players within your squad will develop based on their performance. I can't believe what I'm reading. This does not count for CPU players being used by the AI teams. As I mentioned, it's only for your team. The decrease of older players will be stored every season the better they play every season. I can't believe it. Wow, I can't believe it. Youngsters will get better with more playtime and better stats in the game. So, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't just leave Danny Olmo on the bench and expect him to get an 83 without playing. You know, you have to play these guys, and they have to play well. That's the main thing. They have to play well. Even if they play, they have to play well. This is amazing. Players will decrease, however, if they haven't played or are playing poor. Do you see what EA are doing? Wow. Wow. The depth in career mode this year has taken off, man. This is so good. This is so good, and this is something we have needed. So not only does, for content creators, not only does this allow us to sign different players and a variety of different players that we probably wouldn't sign if, you know, potentials was still a thing or we knew players' potentials, but this also, you know, makes you change your managerial style, because a lot of us, we sign these younger players, but we don't play them. We just leave them on the bench or put them in our second team. Now, if you want a young player, or you believe in a young player and you want them to reach their max potential, you're gonna have to start them. You're gonna have to make room for these young players now in your starting 11. This is amazing. This is so good. So good, and it's a good step in the right direction. Hopefully, moving forward, across the whole board of the database, we can just get player potentials removed completely. But I'm cool with it just being our team for now, because again, it just really makes everything different in terms of from a content creator's point of view anyway. It makes everything different, but eventually I would like it to just be the whole database has got player potentials completely removed. But this is fantastic. Negotiation environments have also changed, so as well as the office, you will now be able to negotiate transfers on a rooftop lounge or at a restaurant. I never heard of anyone negotiating contracts in any of those locations, but then again, we don't know what goes on, so you never know. These lot might be negotiating contracts over dinner. We don't know that, so it's nice, you know. It's not something I want to go witty about, but it's nice. I appreciate the attention to detail. So before I go, there are some important information that you guys should know. So as I mentioned before, no cutscenes when players are messaging you. It will, however, look like a conversation through a messaging app. If an older player overall increases, his attributes will decay slower. So you could actually essentially have Messi playing until like 38, 39. If you actually get Messi scoring, you know, 25 plus goals every season. How you do that, I don't know, but if you do it, you get Messi and Ronaldo in the long run. Non-licensed leagues will have default FIFA 20 themes for your career mode, as I mentioned. Players for the CPU teams will still have potentials, so that's what I mentioned earlier. The dynamic player potential only works for your team. It doesn't work for the AI teams. There isn't enough information collected for them to have dynamic player potentials for the entire database. Dynamic potentials are only for the players in your squad. So, like I said, for me, it's kind of like, but at the same time, it makes sense. But hopefully, you know, especially next year will be on next-gen consoles. Hopefully, they can do this throughout the entire database of your FIFA career mode. Offering a player a contract to counter a release clause is still in the game. This is to give users control over what happens. Personally, for me, I'm going to make a different video on this because I actually feel like this is EA are kind of doing this a bit wrong, in my opinion. I feel like if you're going to add this option, just forget release clauses, because it's just pointless. But I'm going to talk about that and touch upon that in another video, so stay tuned for that. No manager movements for FIFA 20. They couldn't get to it. It was something that's potentially going to be looked at, but for this game we don't have that, so it is what it is. You just have to make up your own little stories as you go along. There aren't any new countries when scouting academy players, but ethnicities have been rebalanced in all countries, which is good. I know for those that do like youth squad legends or youth academy career modes, this is something that they'd like to see, just a complete reset and have everything actually balanced and actually be okay, because I know there's been a bit of issues with ethnicities and countries and things like that, so that's all good in the hood. Morale is split into 4 categories: playtime, performance, team performance, and contract. Playtime gets updated after each match based on how much the player played, so whether they played a full 90 or 45 minutes or 30 minutes, however it may be. Performance is based on his match rating in the match and if he was used in a preferred position, so this could be a secondary position as well. So you know, we sometimes see a player that can play central midfield, but on the little in brackets or next to it, or say they can also play in cam, left mid, right mid, etc. So if you can play them in any of those positions, it should be all good. Team's performance updates based on how well your team is progressing towards a team objective. So this is good because now this makes you have to work towards the team objectives. For me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't look at the team objectives. I may do so once, but after that, don't care. Just don't care anymore. I don't look at it, I just leave it. And if I complete an objective, I complete an objective. If I don't, I don't. But now, you know, players are gonna want, your team is gonna want to work towards the team objectives. They know the team objective just as you do, so they're gonna want to work to those objectives. So that means you're gonna actually have to try and complete those team objectives. This is good. And contracts are obviously based on wage and contract. And maybe, I don't know, but maybe I'm creating scenarios here. Maybe if you sign a new player in the same position as another player, he might feel threatened and he might ask for a new contract just to secure his stability in the team. I don't know, man. They could do a lot of things with the contract side of things. Morale is split into 5 categories though: very happy, happy, content, sad, and very sad. Depending on morale, different positions will boost different attributes. So what this means is, depending on where the players play, there will be specific attributes that will be improved. So you won't have a centre back, you know, with high morale and then he starts to improve in his attacking attributes. That ain't gonna work. So for example, a defender will improve in his marking, his interceptions, whereas a winger might improve on his crossing, his dribbling, maybe even his finishing. So things like that. Scheduling conflicts have been completely fixed. That is something they completely worked on, and it's good because it needs to be fixed. What I am also hoping for, which I don't think I saw on the pitch notes, is that leagues will actually have their correct structure. So the Bundesliga actually has a winter break. That would be nice. You know, stuff like that. You know, attention to detail, stuff like that is important to me, because with me, when I use a Bundesliga team, I actually just simulate the entire month of January. I don't play it because it counts as, for me, as like a winter break. But it would be nice, you know, if they had a winter break in the actual database. In regards to the news feeds, only matches you play will have a screenshot taken of them. Matches that are simmed can't generate screenshots. So if you simulate a game, don't expect any sort of screenshots or stories on the newsfeed. You actually have to play them to gain these screenshots to create your own stories in career mode. So if you sim a game, don't expect anything. If you play it, expect something. And there's no limit to how often you can be contacted through player conversations. Some stories won't trigger at the same time to avoid being spammed with the same request, but it can just go off at any given moment. There is no like time frame for anything. It could just go off at any given moment, which is how it should be, because it happens in real life. So that is everything for FIFA 20 career mode. Like I said, man, I'm blown away. I did not expect them to actually add this much depth into career mode, and it's, you know, at the same time I'm saying I'm shocked, and I genuinely am shocked, but with how much backlash they had for FIFA 19, they had to do something. They had to do something, but I didn't expect this much. And this is 100%, I know this is a cliche say it, but this is 100% a good step going forward, man. This is the right step in the right direction. Now what they need to do moving forward into FIFA 21, 22, 23, I can't believe I'm saying those numbers, by the way, but for FIFA 21, 22 and 23, they just need to add those layers. Yeah, they just need to add those layers. They can't slow down, they can't get lazy, they can't stop. They need to keep going, because eventually with what they've got now, the base foundation they've created now, they can actually create they can create something special, man. They can really create something special with what they've got going on now. So once again, a massive thank you to Corey and Zara, because I know they worked so hard this year to get career mode guys what we needed, and they've delivered 10 times, man. Thank you very much. Thank you to the career mode team over at EA, because you actually took our suggestions and some of the stuff we were complaining about, you took it into consideration and made something very special for FIFA 20. FIFA 20 is going to be a very fun game. We have got improvements in Ultimate Team, nice improvements in Ultimate Team. We've got small improvements for clubs. We've got big changes for career mode, and of course we've got Volta news coming soon as well. FIFA 20 is jam-packed. When you look at it, it's jam-packed, man, and it's a game that's going to last us for a very long time. We won't be getting bored around this time next year. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do. Volta, they keep updating that. That'll be amazing. Ultimate Team, obviously you know how they go hard with Ultimate Team as well. Pro clubs, you know, if you're in the scene there, pro clubs, and you're doing your thing over there, you know, you can do what you need to do. Career mode, just stories and things we can create now. It's just going to last us a long time. It's all good, man. FIFA 20 is the right step in the right direction. I'm out here, man. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the video and just listening to me, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for FIFA 20 career mode, because it's coming, trust me, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Peace.